Hey, what's going on, DDO players? Axel here, another episode of Forum Talk for you. And I'm in a good mood today. And I saw this very positive thread on the forums, and why not? Let's just talk about it. So the thread is DDO is amazing. So this guy just wanted to post and just say thanks to the developers and talk about how much he likes the game and why he likes it. So this is what he had to say. DDO is a truly amazing game. It's one of the best games I've ever played, and he lists some of the other games he liked. For me, same deal here. It's definitely one of my it's a top three all time favorite game for me, if not number one. I mean, there's a few games that I have a lot of nostalgia for that I played a ton when I was growing up, like maybe like games like Final Fantasy VII, games like Civilization 1. So games like that I have a lot of nostalgia for personally, but DDO is, if it's not number one, it's definitely top two or three for me. So he says, I've been playing DDO for 13 years since its release in 2006, and that's a long time. I personally have been playing about 10 years, and I have been seriously playing probably for about, I would say, 8 or 9 or so, because the first couple years I just really casually played it and sparsely played it. So this guy continues, and since he's been playing this on release, it has brought him nothing but joy. It is a game that makes him really happy. He goes on to say it's very inspiring and so fun, a very beautifully made game. So he just wanted to give a salute and honorable gesture to the kind, amazing people who developed this fantastic game. So very positive stuff there. It is a very beautifully made game in a lot of ways. I mean, the game has its niche, and that niche is if you want a very deep MMO that is Dungeons and Dragons based. This is few. I mean, even if you aren't too big into Dungeons and Dragons, just pen and paper, it's still just has a niche as a very deep MMO that you can really sink your teeth into. Probably, I would say, probably the best character creation of any game, character development in any game, in any MMO for sure, in any game that I've ever played for sure. I mean, in this game more than any other, you can create the character that you want to create. You can come up with just about anything you can imagine in terms of a fantasy character. I mean, if you want to build a halfling barbarian that uses maces, go at it. You can do it. It may not be amazing, but it'll still, you can do it. So I mean, that's great about this game, and that's definitely its biggest strong suit. So he talks about the service, that they provide an amazing service that is good, so honorable and lovely. Yes, they do. The game is not perfect. The service is not perfect. The game has bugs. The game has lag issues sometimes. But overall, when you look at what you're getting for your money, it's pretty incredible. Like, DDO is a very cheap hobby in comparison to other games. Really a lot of other hobbies you could have. I mean, look at games that are on console today, or just the big AAA games that are just filled with a lot of microtransactions that are expensive to play. You have to pay subscriptions, for example, to play online on console, and they have games that are full of microtransactions. You have to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars, in a lot of cases, just to get everything. Now you have to do that in DDO, but this is a game that's been out for a decade plus. But overall, if you want to play DDO, you don't have to buy everything. Like, you don't have to spend a whole lot. If I look at my purchases over my 10 years of playing, I probably spent for sure less than $500 in 10 years. That's a dirt cheap way to play the game. I mean, that is incredibly cheap. I probably spent, I don't know, somewhere around $500 if I had to guess, but probably under that in 10 years. So that's really awesome. So it's a very good deal, if nothing else. And then he talks about the people there. My dealings with the people have been great. I mean, I've met a bunch of them once. The staff, I've met several of the staff people before in person. They were all very cool. They all seem to be very cordial, very fair on the forums. I mean, some people like to complain about the moderation on there, but I think it's really fair. I mean, they let you get really negative, and they're not going to remove you unless you violate community guidelines. So good people, very fair, good rules, really a lot of positive things that this guy has to say and I have to say about SSG. And I will say one good thing about SSG, they didn't, when Turbine kind of abandoned I don't know what the story was there, but when Turbine stopped owning Lotro and DDO, SSG took both of the games, and I think they're doing a better job than Turbine did for sure. I mean, if you look at the content that we've got in the past few years since SSG has been riding the ship compared to the content we were getting the last year or two that Turbine was riding the ship. I think it's pretty. I'm very confident saying that the SSG content has been better. They've definitely made the game better in the past couple years, so that's awesome. And it's really good that they took a risk in creating a new company and started a new venture with kind of focusing on these two games, Lotro and DDO, they love so much. And I, in the past, have thought they would start making a new game or something, but they don't. I think these people actually really like, the people that work there actually really, really are passionate about Lotro and DDO so much that they want to work on these games, not just for the money, but because they actually love the games that much. Because Turbine left for the mobile market, which is where all the money is, but all these guys that are left and girls that are left working on these two games are doing it because they love it. I mean, MMOs are not the big market today at all. Like MMOs were big in the 2000s, early 2000s, but these days, early mid 2000s, but these days the rage is all about mobile. All the rage is about these like online services, games as a service type things. But SSG has stuck to these old games. They are, I'm sure they're making pretty decent money. I don't know. Who knows? We don't know. They're a private company, but they're probably not making as much money as they could be. So it's awesome that they're sticking with these games that they love. So that's great. So let's continue down the thread. Well, we've got some GIFs here, nodding in approval. Oops, sorry, that was a little loud. And this person goes on to comment. He says, I have to agree. DDO isn't without its flaws, such as sometimes crippling lag, which I've talked already, dupes, exploits. They did have that in the past, the anniversary card fiasco, which luckily nothing like that's happened again. And that damage, it's still kind of impacting the game, but I think finally with the amount of time that's gone by, the damage has been mitigated. Somewhat outdated graphics. Yes, the graphics are very outdated in DDO. He then says, and sometimes hard to understand dev decisions, but after nearly 11 years of play, I still find it very enjoyable. I take breaks from time to time, but I've yet to find another game with better character customization, dungeon variation, and overall mechanics. He says he played Skyrim for almost 2 years, both modded and unmodded. I played Skyrim for a bit too, personally. And he talks a little bit more about Skyrim and how it's kind of doesn't live up to DDO for various reasons. I can say personally, I think Skyrim's an amazing game, and I really enjoyed putting 60, 80 hours in it, but it did feel to me when I was playing through it like it was a better looking version of DDO, but a much more lonely version of DDO, because you obviously Skyrim's a solo game. You can't play with other people. So yeah, that's basically how I felt about Skyrim. Fun for playing, putting 60 hours, 80 hours into. But when it comes to picking a game to play long term, and I know there are people who put thousands of hours into Skyrim and play it long term, I don't think it compares to DDO, because while Skyrim is obviously newer and it has a kind of a cult following, and it has an amazing open world that is just incredible. I don't think long term it really can compare to something like DDO, where you get a multiplayer online experience, continuous updates and such. So I think DDO is a better long term game. Let's see what else we got here. Just some more GIFs / memes, whatever. This next person says DDO is one of the few games having pirates in a fantasy setting. And then he says, I think I wrote when I was more active years ago, what DDO doesn't have in graphics, it does have everything else, or something like that. Okay, this next poster says, no other game has made me shout out loud, I love this game as much as DDO has. This next person says, I have also been here for the long haul. It continues to amaze. It is my escape. It's one of the few things in life that I'm good at. This next person says, I agree that it's an amazing game, quite unique and in a good way. Thank you, SSG. So more positive comments, more GIFs. Just more positive comments. It's my favorite MMORPG of all time, this person says. Next person says they hope it goes on forever. More thumbs up. More concurring. This next person says, think of the most amazing thing about DDO is this. It's a game you can always come back to and pick up where you left off. And that's very true. I've done that personally. As you guys know, I wasn't too active, I would say, in like last. I have been pretty active, and I've been active in 2019, but 2018 I wasn't nearly as active as I am now, and that was kind of reflected by my uploads. But yeah, it's definitely a game you can always leave and then come back if you want to, and you can play as little or as much as you want and still find some enjoyment. Another person has been playing since 2006 when it launched. So yeah, I think that's about it for the thread. But yeah, I would say I sometimes complain on the channel, and sometimes for very good reasons, and criticize. But overall, I still really like the game. If I didn't, I wouldn't be making videos for you guys and for the community for, shoot, how long have I been doing this now? I don't know. I would have to go look. 3-4 years. I have no idea. So it's something I enjoy, and I really enjoy making content for the community as well. So guys, that's gonna be it for this video. Let me know what you think. If you have some positive things to say about the game, this is a good time to do it. I'll see you all next time. You all have a good one. Take care.